Hello, everyone.
Oh, I think it's a bit too
It's
loud.
Wednesday, 26th of January 2022. We are in the winter here in Europe,
Cheapest
very
winter,
cold.
cheapest winter.
So I hope you are okay. Nadja is back after her long holidays. Yeah, she had a long holiday, so now she's back. She needs to work a little bit. And today she will talk all night long. We're just here to listen her. Huh? Okay, so again, nice to have you all here with us. It's a pleasure to be part of this group here, and I can see people are joining us. It's it's more than welcoming everyone. Okay, so today's topic we will talk about law of preservation. It's one of the laws of the nature, and Kardec dedicated a kind of a chapter in the Spirit's book about law of preservation. Okay, and as usual, before we go ahead, we will play a short video and then we can move on. Okay, let me put my. Oh, but before that, one second, I forgot. My friends here need to introduce themselves. I forgot. So let's start with the girls. Nadja, you were on holiday, so please.
It wasn't a holiday.
Labas vakaras, laba diena, labas rytas. Šiandien mūsų tema yra apie išsaugojimo įstatymą. Kalbėsime apie kaip išsaugot mūsų gyvenimą pagal spiritizmą. Tikiuosi, kad jums bus naudinga, bus įdomu. Hello, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this evening. I was on holidays, yes, and we have to have some free time, enjoy with the family and friends, and then come back to work fresh and renewed. So I pass now to Elsa. Hello, Elsa, in London.
Yes, Nadja, we were missing you for sure. Okay, it's so nice that you are back, and it's a great joy to be here once again. Every week, talk with our dear friends, leave our hearts floating in the air, go everywhere, and embrace everyone. So I am poetic today, and I would like to say thank you to the benefactors that you are coordinating these lives, this group, so close to us, inspiring us, and we ask them protection forever because we need them. Without the benefactors, we are most nothing. So we are talking tonight, a wonderful theme, and I hope you can chat and say something in our chat box, encouraging us, questions, suggestions, and we can interact. Okay? Thank you all for being here. Now I pass over to Silvia, our dear Silvia.
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone, a todos que estão ouvindo. So it's very motivating and good to be together, to share this moment of Spiritism with ourselves and all of you. And we hope that today, whatever we are going to talk, if you like to ask questions, we bring some knowledge to each and every one of us. Something new may come from it. It's like Elsa said, the benefactors are with us, helping us and guiding us. And, let's hope that our hearts and our minds are open to learn what they will bring to us today. So nice to be here with you all.
Good. Let's go to France.
Sorry.
Bonsoir à tous.
Hello, Charles. Sorry, Charles.
Très heureux d'être parmi vous ce soir pour parler de la loi de conservation. Loi de conservation qui est une des 10 lois de la nature selon la division qu'avait fait Allan Kardec dans le livre 3e du livre des esprits. Hello everyone, very happy to be here with you again this evening. Shouldn't be today, but still I am. Such a little changes the program, but that's fine. And to talk about the law of conservation, which is something, one of the moral laws that as per the classification made by Allan Kardec in the book third of the Spirit book. And we will elaborate a little bit on this topic today. Thanks a lot for being here with us.
Okay, now it's time to the video. Okay. So let me go and put the video here. Yes.
By having something we believe in, by creating for ourselves a construct, psychological construct of something that is grander than all of us. And then there's no right or wrong in this case. That is what we believe in. It's a very personal experience. But by having this, by creating this construct that is something that is much larger than what we are, we can then project a future for ourselves, a situation of improvement, even if it's not something that can be carried out at that very moment. There is a faith that we think of religious faith, and in that sense, it gives us a strength that is not based on technology, for instance. But there is also that faith in humanity, the faith in the professionals of the health area that are going to assist us in that moment of need, in that moment of difficulty. There is also faith in humanity in the sense of the technological advancements that we have at our disposal today to tackle that difficult situation. And I think in that sense, the faith of something that is grander, that is larger than what we are, it can assist us because we can experience, or at least we can project a purpose that perhaps the objectivity of the immediatism cannot give to us. The immediatism would be the cure. That would be what anyone who is in a difficult, going through a difficult infirmity would want, would desire. But then you also have the situations where we know it can be a battle that for the moment we don't have a cure for, or that we don't have the necessary tools, medical tools, nursing tools to address it. So the faith would allow us to have resignation, will allow us to get a better understanding of and cope better with that situation. Even though we cannot see in the near future a cure for it, we will live better through that experience. We will not be as miserable, I would put it this way. And I think it has major psychological impacts. And faith here is in the most generic sense of the word possible. It doesn't have to be the religious faith that we would say ritualistic faith, but that feeling, that internal feeling that allow us to devise a better purpose for ourselves.
Okie dokie. Okay. Well, what to say about this law of preservation? And when you don't know what to say, we look for Emmanuel. Emmanuel always know what to say. And he's saying here on the book Living Spring, on chapter 69, he says, Many people believe that embracing the faith entitles them to unproductive ecstasy. Faith means vision. Vision means understanding and the ability to help. Helping others, creating joy, harmony, and hope, opening new horizons to a higher kind of knowledge, and making life better wherever we are comprises the ministry of all those who have devoted themselves to the good news. Let us seek the pure waters of prayer to soothe our hearts, but let us not forget to use our emotions, reasoning, and hands for the progress and improvement of ourselves, of everyone and everything. So it's I think that's the part of ourselves, We do have faith in this, we do have faith that, but what's the faith in ourselves? What's the I must do now? That's my part. That's my joy now. I needed to move on. And in order to move on, we need to understand God's laws, which is laws of nature. And based on that, uh, as always, I like to start with France. And my question to Charles is why the law of preservation is part of this law of natures from God.
Thank you for the question, Stevan. I think it's an easy one because Kardec almost asked the same to the spirits in the question 702, basically of the spirits book. So I said basically the law of preservation is we can see it through what we call an instinct. We will see later on what is an instinct. The instinct of self-preservation, basically. And in the question 702, Kardec was asking to the spirits, is the self-preservation instinct a law of nature? And the spirits, they answered, absolutely, because all living beings possesses it, regardless of their degree of intelligence. In some, it is purely mechanical. In some others, it is thought out. And so you see, we talk about instinct now in the answer. It's also talking about intelligence. So we will also make the difference between those two. In the next question, 703, Kardec is asking, what was God's purpose in granting the instinct of self-preservation to all living beings? And the answer of the spirits is also full of common sense, saying, all beings must collaborate in the designs of providence. That is why God has given them the need to stay alive. Besides, life is necessary for beings to perfect themselves, to progress. They sense this instinctively without perceiving it. And in fact, the instinct we can see mostly in the animals. Instincts is some occult force that solicits organic beings in general to spontaneous and involuntary acts with a view of their preservation. This is what Kardec is explaining us in the Genesis, section 3.11. So it's something that is not spontaneous and involuntary. So it's the opposite or almost of intelligence. Okay. And this instinct is given by God or by the law of nature to the living beings. Otherwise, they would not survive, or they would even not exist. They would have disappeared already without this instinct of preservation. That's what it's a law of nature. Now, talking about intelligence, the difference between instinct and intelligence is that the intelligence is revealed by voluntary, thoughtful, premeditated, combined acts according to the expediency of circumstances. So you see, it's instinct is involuntary and intelligence is voluntary. So it's something which is quite different one from the other. Because in the instinctive acts, there is no reflection, no combination, no premeditation. And this is how, for instance, instinct, the preservation, I talked about the animals, but you can see also with plants as is the same. Huh? They seek air, light. They put the roots in the soil to seek water. They orient themselves according to the sun. The flower is opening and closing also according to the need. So you see, there is a lot of mechanism that is done exactly for the preservation, for the conservation of living being, even plants. Huh? And the animals also is by instinct that they are warned of what is useful or harmful to them. And they move according to the seasons. Huh? You have birds moving from one continent to the others. They go also together for the law of reproduction. The mother is incubating and taking care of the young. And so we can perceive this instinct almost everywhere in the animals. Okay. And in humans, so this is where the instinct is slowly but surely changing and being replaced by intelligence. The instincts dominates in our how to say when you go to prehistorical time. There the people were more governed, even the humans, Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal were more governed by instinct than by intelligence. But with the time, with the evolution, this is changing. Also the children at the beginning sorry, they have not the mean yet to express their intelligence. So they are also instinctively breathing, instinctively crying when they need something, calling the attention, and so on. Okay, to express somehow the needs. And but then in adults, the instinct is somehow dampening, reducing, and are replaced by intelligence. Nevertheless, still there are some instincts. For instance, if you are in a place where all of a sudden there is an explosion or a fire coming or something like this, the instinct is to move away, to protect ourselves and to run away. And this is purely instinctive. This is why you have what we call panic and all these mass movements, which can be even harmful. But the fireman, for instance, he is replacing this instinct by intelligence because he is going to the fire. He knows the risk. He knows what to do in order to fix it, to fight it, and so on. So this is also very clearly explaining how intelligence is replacing instincts. So nevertheless, the intelligence is not perfect. So we can make mistakes. We use our intelligence, but we can do wrong things. Whilst the instinct is coming from the nature, is generally pushing us to doing something which is good for us. So even when we are replacing the instinct by intelligence, we should always listen to the instincts because they can be very helpful to us. And Kardec is explaining all this in his book, The Genesis. He is developing these points in the section 3 of these books. And then just he's also talking about the subject in the heaven and hell, the fear, where he's talking about the fear from death. Everybody or almost have fear from death. Why? Exactly because of this instinct of self-preservation. The fear of death is coming because at the beginning we don't know what the death is. So we fear it because we are uncertain of what is happening after our death. In some ancient cultures like Celtism, they did not fear the death because they were already convinced at that time that the soul is surviving and even reincarnating. So this is why they went a little bit without thinking too much, without protection against the Roman army. And the Roman army, with the protection and everything, they lost the battle because they did not fight with the same weapons, basically. So it shows that if the intelligence comes too early, it's maybe not good. It's good that the instincts, we start with the instincts in order of the preservation, and that it is replaced by intelligence only when the intelligence has reached a certain degree where it can safely replace the instincts. Okay. So the time is almost over already. The last point I would like to discuss, for instance, the spiritists. They now, with spiritism, as we have also told you several lives, we don't fear the death anymore, because also we are sure that what will happen, our soul will survive, it will reincarnate, and so on. But we have in the same in the spiritism also the teachings we are bringing to you about the law of conservation, and explaining us that even if we don't fear the death, we should do whatever we can through our intelligence in order to preserve our life, to take it as long as possible, as long as it was programmed, even if you don't know exactly the duration in our conscious state. We should do everything to preserve our life. So you see, the intelligence of the law of conservation is maintaining this safety when the intelligence is replacing the instinct. And just to finish, also an interesting point is that when we talk, what are the worst thing in a human being? It's selfishness and pride, isn't it? And where does selfishness come from? It's exactly coming from the law of preservation, because we fear that we will not have anymore the necessary for ourselves. Okay, so in a certain way, the selfishness is coming from this instinct, this law of preservation, as long as the intelligence is not explaining or making us understand that through selfishness, the living in society is worse for everyone, and that we should rather follow the teachings that Jesus gave us to do unto the other what we would like the others to do unto us. So I will stop here, because I know the time is over, and there are a lot of things very interesting to talk about this subject by my fellows. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Charles. Here we don't. You guys don't have time. I am the only one who have time here. You all can talk all night. I can listen to you talking. But before to go to Lithuania, I'm missing Lithuania. I want to say good night to Beatriz Gilles, Munir Gariba, Vanessa Celoni, Leandro Stoll, John O'Shaughnessy, Reginaldo Coelho, and Lou VM. So good night, my friends. I'm glad you are here, and all other friends who are just watching us and didn't put their names or didn't say hello. So now we are ready to travel to Lithuania. It's white there, a lot of snow, cold. And my dear Nadja, we are in the winter. Winter is a tough time, especially here in North Hemisphere. Like the nights are longer than the days, especially in Lithuania. You know, like you have the sunrise 10 o'clock ish and sunset 2 o'clock ish. You know,
Well, it's not that bad. It gets
not
from
too
eight
bad, you
to
know.
eight to
Yeah,
3. Yeah.
yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, we can see a lot of suicide cases, and but we will not go to the suicide case today. We will go to something a little bit more happen more common. Let's suppose someone is diagnosed. Oh, someone got the
Diagnosis.
diagnosis um,
It's being
of a
diagnosed.
diagnosed, thank you, of a terminal disease. Why this person cannot give up life?
Yeah, that's well. Thank you for the question. Difficult question. First of all, I want to congratulate Charles because his talk was just very good. We were just like, I was just concentrated here and just listening. Oh, no, don't stop talking. It was very good. Thank you. Why not give up living? That's a difficult question in this case because only those people who have got this are in this situation. Those people who are in this situation know the impact of this diagnosis. They want to give up because they are afraid of afraid of the unknown. They don't know if this disease or this problem is going to be debilitating, if it's going to be painful, are they going to be a burden to the family, what is going to happen after they die, and maybe this is the most frequently asked questions. And well, first I want to say that we spiritists and spiritualists are also a little bit afraid of what's going to happen after we die, after the body dies. Even when we know that we're going to have the opportunity to be in contact with our family members here on earth, we're going to be having the opportunity to continue our journey to after death, to have our spiritual life. We have the opportunity to come back and reincarnate and evolve. So even for those who don't believe in that, I would say that it's worthwhile living. It's enjoy your life, enjoy as much as you can, enjoy this last moments that you have. There was a girl, a young woman on this programs for American Idol or one of those programs, singing contests. And she was diagnosed with cancer, and the cancer was spread to her lungs and bones. And she has been given the 2% chance of living. And then she said, like, even if you have 2% of chance of living, it's not zero. So that's what she said, a young woman. And she said 2% is something incredible. After 7 months, she's still alive, she's singing, and she's writing songs. So this is a proof that is worth living, not giving up. As Charles said, God has given us this survival instinct. So we have this need, innate need to fight for life. We have only one certainty when we are born, that we're going to die one day. So we have to enjoy our life as much as we can, doing the good to the others, to ourselves. This body that we have is not going to live forever, but we will have our spirit to be able to reincarnate and in another body. And that's the progress. That's how we progress in each life we live. We learn something new. We learn how to be better person and to have the opportunity to grow. And when we grow, everybody else around us can have this opportunity as well, and the whole world will progress. And living our lives without attachment brings to us less suffering. So people who are sad and in depression and they want to give up of life, they don't want to end up their life. They want to end up their sufferings. And some sufferings that God gave to us, they are necessary for us to realize and review our attitudes, our lives, our behaviors. And like this girl that had this 2% of chance of living with metastatic cancer, so the cancer is already in the lungs and the bones and or in the brain. So she had two options. She said she could give up and she could stay on a bed and be angry and shorten this period, but living weeks of suffering and loneliness and depression and pain sometimes and sorrow and suffering and anger. But she decided to live. She accepted it and she decided to live. So I suggest, as I can use this word, to have this moment to reevaluate your life, check the positive things that happened. If you want to learn something new, a new language, so you want to play an instrument, you want to walk on a park, you want to travel to Brazil, so do it while you can, if it's possible, if you are able to do it. But those little things that you wanted to that will bring you joy. And the video said also that the scientists, that the technology is so advanced now, and God is so great that we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. No? The scientists are working non-stop to find the mechanisms of disease, to try to cure it, and trying to find new medication, new treatments. They are revising. I can talk about acupuncture the whole night, but I won't say it. But there are scientists analyzing researching which are the effects of acupuncture in the body, in the brain, in the whole health, of the patient. So we can have faith, have hope that the future can be brighter, can have technological advances, and can change treatments. So even if it's today is a terminal disease, maybe it will be necessary to go through it, so other people who are coming with the same similar situation, same problems, maybe in the future they won't go through it. Also talk about your feelings, your emotions, your suffering, your worries with family members, with friends, with help from the system, so institutions you can call for free, and you can get help, and you can help others when you're sharing your experiences. So taking it out of your chest is also good to relieve, to accept, to understand, and then it makes you this burden, this unknown, be a little bit less heavy, yes, I can say. And loving life, loving God, loving the people around you, brings you also the chance of forgive others and be forgiven as well. And I have read once that a person who got the diagnosis of terminal disease, and she said that life is a mixture of all sorts of things. There are sad moments, then there are moments that have gone wrong. There are things when you can be upset and angry about, but find positives and rejoice in these positives and rejoice in the life that you've had. Celebrate the life that you have had and come to terms with the fact that it will ultimately end. But also I will quote Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. And I think that's what summarizes everything. You never know the day of tomorrow or the next second. So enjoy it, leave it, forgive, and love with all of your heart. That's my message for today. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. If you want my address, you can send me a box of chocolate. I'm okay, you know. Yeah. I can give you Elsa, Silvia, and Charlie's address as well, so it's not gonna harm us.
Yeah, chocolate is always welcome. No? Milk chocolate.
Yes. 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 Okay. My dear Silvia.
An easy one for me.
Always.
Really, really easy one.
You know, always. It's easy for you. Let's get the train of thought here. We have Charles speaking wonderfully about the instinct, the intelligence, and then we have someone diagnosed with a terminal disease, and fortunately, I not been through this path,
Choice.
you know, but what we have read, some point when you are in this situation, you need to kind of split, make the difference between what's superfluous and what's necessary. How to do it, and what is superfluous, what is necessary.
Okay. It's interesting what Nadja was saying, because just this week I was reading about this English athlete. She's a rower, and with two other friends, they rowed through the Atlantic, and because she's being diagnosed with cancer, and as a last thing that she could do, they rowed over the Atlantic, and they just came back to England. So, you know, I think this is amazing how sometimes life will take over. And when the person feels that they're coming close to it, that is when they do the utmost in their lives. And it would be really interesting if we didn't need to have those kind of ultimatum for us to get a move on and do whatever we want to do. And you know, I've read about people who always wanted to be a painter, and when they were given like 6 months life, they wanted to do a course to learn how to paint. And we hear so many stories like that. And it would be nice if we could just take life as it comes and enjoy every moment, and really make the most of it, what we can, for ourselves and for others. Now, I think, how can you define what is superfluous and what is necessary? I think in the question 715, the Spirit's book, he answers it. Only what is necessary is useful. I think if we want to know what is necessary for us, is it useful? I think that's the line there. If it's not useful, it's something more, we don't need it, so it's superfluous. I think when, you know, they ask the question, how do we know the limits of what we need and what it's more? And the question said, you know, intuition would tell us, but some men will know by intuition, and others will have to suffer to learn. And I think I always love the way the spirits give very, very short, very precise, no interpretation kind of answers, and that's it. You know, if you don't learn by seeing things, by your intuition, by what you learn, you will learn in a different way, by suffering, by going through difficulties. So I think also he says that nature has defined our needs. So our bodies knows what it needs, but you know, like the Spirit says here, we human beings are insatiable, and we usually go over what we need. We go in everything, not only in food and drink and things we want, everything we go over. And that always causes some kind of trouble for us. And we have to be very, very careful for this kind of damage that can come from we overdoing things sometimes. You also say that in having things, in preserving it, life, and conserving life, and we do need things, and I think it's important to know that our needs need to be fulfilled. And I think the spirits make a really very important point, because a life of sacrifice, like they quote about like the fakirs and some people who live a completely isolated life, sacrificing themselves, but don't help anybody. It's completely useless, that kind of life, because it doesn't help anyone. And the whole thing is to help people, to help others. He says, it's selfishness. The only thing that is value is when you sacrifice something from yourself in order to give more to others. And I think they say also that in satisfying our needs, the real needs that we have, we do not go overstep and monopolize what should belong to others. And I think the thing, we will have that line. Everything that goes, if we go over somebody else's line, we are overtaking them, we're taking something from them, and we wouldn't like them to do that to us. I think Charles quotes this very important thing, that we only do to others as we would like them to do to us. And if we take more than we need, then we are taking over something that should belong to other people, and we should not monopolize what it belongs to others, because the earth, God gave us possibility for everyone to be fed. And I think that that's what we need really, because what we necessary, we need to fulfill our lives, what our true needs are. It's, you mentioned a couple of times about winter. You need a warm home that you can come, from work, wherever you are, and your home will be nice and comfortable. You need to have warmth. You have to have nourishment. You need to, nowadays we need our computers. Is no longer something that is special, but having a computer nowadays, a mobile phone, is a necessity to communicate with people and everything. So if we have those things, we need that for our lives to be better. And it's not wrong to strive to make, to do things better for ourselves, to make the effort. But we have to be always aware that in bringing something that's good for us, we do not damage other people. And now as well, what is comfortable, what we need, besides facilities. I mean, if you're ill, to be able to go to a hospital and to be treated, to have the medicine that this is part as well of what is necessary for us. And it's almost like it's not so much a necessity. It is a necessity, but what is a right that we should have, everyone should have. Also an opportunity for education, to be educated, to be able to get a job. And I think we live in times now when it's the richest that the human beings ever been. We have a possibility of putting a spacecraft on an asteroid moving at thousands of miles a second. And yet we go out in a city like London, which, the heart of the world, and we see so many people sleeping in the streets. And whereas there's so much reach, and it's interesting sometimes when they have a couple of programs which I never watch because it's a waste of time, but you have all these people, they're so rich, so rich, so rich, and they have these houses, I remember in one of it, how the other side live, wherever. This man, he lives in this house, and he has 5 swimming pools. 5. swimming pools. He has a huge garden. He has, I mean, the whole place is like a universe in itself, you know. But he said he never goes swimming because he doesn't have the time. He never goes to walk in the garden because he's constantly working. So although he has all this, he doesn't have use of anything because he's locked in a room working 24 hours a day to have all these things. And it seems to me such a crazy kind of thing. But we have people who are so rich, whereas others so poor, and there was so little that they need to be helped. So I think, you know, the measure for us is what is superfluous and what is necessary. If it's not useful, then we don't need it. And I would like to come to a close now, but I'd like to quote something from Chico that I translated from a message that he gave. He said, we know that we have basic needs. However, the Lord did not teach us to ask for bread, cars, 2 cars, an aeroplane. We have no need to put such a burden on ourselves. Today, we may be called back to a spiritual life. And he also said that everything we have created for ourselves, that we have no need of, is transformed in anguish and pressure upon us, and we do not need that. I think that these 2 quotes from Chico answer the questions better than everything I said before, because exactly, he says, you know, if you create things that we don't need, it's such a burden, and also it's anguish, because the more we have, the more afraid we are of losing it. So I think Chico concludes here better. And, you know, if we think about it, then we just have what we need and what we don't need. We divide with others who may have less. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. And also, our friend Rodrigo Ortega, he collaborated here with us. Excess is everything which takes our attention from the essential. The essential is what is according to natural laws, physical and moral. Our vigilance to think, feel, and act according to God's law is what would tell us what is excess and what is essential. Thank you, Rodrigo. Very good observation. Thank you. And wow, we have 10 minutes left. Why it goes so fast, you know? And now we go to our dear Elsa to wrap up. So, my dear, we said about many things today. How to use the intelligence, how to replace instinct by the intelligence, how to use our instinct, how to do not give up life when you have bad news ahead of us. How to differentiate superfluous from necessity. And for you is how to see earthly joys, earthly goodness, and extract from this passion, life.
Steven, when I heard first Charles was speaking, for me it was a great lesson of the week for me, what Charles said, because he could relate things that I didn't think before. And Nadja brought this case that is amazing, really. Silvia pointed Emmanuel and the Spirit's book. So my question is actually is easy and not easy one. and talk how we can enjoy the earthly goods. Yes, we can. We are here to be happy. We are here to use what we have in a good sense. Now, as pointed our dear Rodrigo, we have to use to have the essential. But when we are greedy and have 5 swimming pools, we have to pay people to take care. We have to pay things to guardians to not people to rob my property. So as much as I want things, I have to work more to have more money to pay things earthly. Yes, goods are good, but I am enjoying it. Sometimes if I have only as Chico 2 clothes, one small bed, one small house, and doing things good for others as a charity, as a charitable person, you are really enjoying your earthly goods. Because if you inherit a property or a lot of money for someone that you did not work to earn, and you have everything in your hands, if you don't make a good use of this richness, you will be, of course, not enjoying your earthly goods, because God gives, but God can take it. You don't take things with you when you die. You only take things with you when you really do good, be charitable. I mean, base myself in the chapter I think 16 for the gospel, item 10 and 11. It's so clear when God says earthly goods belongs to God. God who distributes them in accordance with his wishes. Humans are nothing more than usufructuary, a relatively honest and intelligent administrator of these properties. If I have too much, for sure, in other parts, people are having less. If I have my house full of uh, meals and food, everything, for sure that in other parts someone is having less. So if my heart is working with my goods in a good way, I will think in others. I can share. I can have money to share with others that they can have all the basic to survive. Right? This is something that we have to think very important, because everything that we have to use it exclusively for the satisfaction of our senses, of our pride. Of course, we are not doing good for ourselves. What then is the best way to employ riches? If you look for the answer in the words love one another that Silvia pointed, you will find the solution. The solution is we are, of course, in unbalanced earth, rich and poor. But in our sense that what we are learning now to be a better person, to use our goods in a good way, not to have 5 TV, 10 houses, only for one person go here and there and there and there, or 5 swimming pools. That is amazing. Of course, I'm only greeting. I'm only thinking in material things. I'm not giving time for my spirituality grow, and I will face the consequences of this in perhaps another incarnation, or even in this incarnation as well. I have other things to do, but I will stop here. Okay. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. We have some comments here. Nancy Valente comments about probably the swimming pool, the 5 swimming pool. Most of people that possess many things forget how only to be. Yeah, and today we have a very good friend, Edir Paixão. Thank you for being here with us. Congrats on this important talk. Thank you, Edir. Missing you, my friend. Good. Hope you're okay. And I think we can wrap up. If you have any question, my friends, please let us know. If you guys our guest, Nadja, Elsa, Charles, and Silvia, if you want to add something, please feel free to open the mic and let's talk.
A good invitation for this weekend.
Yes, yes, okay. So, if everybody okay, let's go to the announcements. I'm put it here. So, next week the topic is virtues and vices. It's on 2nd February, 9 p.m. This Saturday, we will start the Mediums book study in English. So with Guilherme Dias, Munir Gariba, and Charles Kempf. It starts 10:30 a.m. London time and goes up to 11:30 a.m. So don't miss that. It's a great opportunity and great not professors, but I would say
Facilitators.
facilitators. I like the word. Yes, yes. This is priceless. Okay. Also, on the same Saturday, on the 29th, at night, 7 p.m., we will have a talk from Pekka from Finland, and the topic is objectives of the European Spiritist Gathering. So everyone is more than welcome to join, see what Pekka have for this 2022 and what's the objectives, how to promote, how to expand the Spiritism teachings all over Europe. On Wednesday, every Wednesday, when you think to have a coffee, why do not have a coffee break with Kardec? It's Munir giving a 15-ish minutes talk about Genesis, and it starts at 4 p.m. and goes to 4:15, something like this. Okay, so every Wednesday, 4 p.m. London time. Okay, so what more? Our time to talk with Guilherme Dias and Rafael Caldas, conversations on mediumship every other Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. So we will have this upcoming Tuesday, or is the following one? I think it is the following one.
Following one.
Yeah, because I watched this week. Yeah, it's the following one. Yeah, okay. So again, in April we will have the best event of the year, which is a first World Spiritist Month. Almost 40 countries talking about Spiritism. It's a wonderful opportunity to understand, to see, to analyze different viewpoints, to analyze different accents, different opinions, but everyone based in Kardec. That's a wonderful opportunity. So don't miss this. Shortly, we will have the exact date, but save the date. It's in April of 2022. And we will have this Saturday at 4 mediumship meeting with Guilherme Dias from 4 to 6:30 p.m. UK time. So if you are interested in virtual mediumistic meetings, this is a right place to go. Guilherme has a wonderful experience, wonderful knowledge about it, and I highly recommend you to join him on the 29th from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. London time.
It will be in Portuguese, this one, but we already have in English, that is in our bus audiovisuals. In English, this one is in Portuguese because a lot of people asked to do in Portuguese for some countries, so it will be in Portuguese, okay? But everybody will be welcome to watch, to learn how to do a virtual spiritist mediumship meeting, okay?
Okay, good. And that's it. That's it. The Queen is happy with us. We are 10 o'clock sharp. Huh? So, once again, it's been a pleasure to be here to share this moment with you, my friends. Everyone who is watching us, who will see, who will watch this later offline. I want to say thank you. Thank you, Nadja. Welcome back. Thank you, Elsa, Silvia, merci, Charles. And I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good week. God bless all.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care of yourself out there.
Bye.